There we go. Welcome to this very exciting new Lambda live stream. You already know who I am, but you might not know, or you might actually already know who these people are from Keep Away from Fire or CAF Software, the developers of Boreal Alyph. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves right now?
All right, starting with David.
Yes,
Hi,
let's
I'm
start with
David.
David.
I am one of the 3 project leads. High tech.
All right, the next one. So that was David, one of the project leads of Boreal Alyph.
All right, I'm Kaitek. I'm the other one of the project leads. I'm the founder of the CAF team. I do some programming and level design. That's all.
All right, who is next? Who is the next one on the introduction list?
Alright, I am Luna and I am the programming lead. I also do graphics programming and first-person animation. So like every single first-person animation that's in the game, that's me.
Ooh, nice. All right, and we got another one to introduce. Say hi.
Hi. Hello, I'm Mosin. I'm one of the 3 modelers on the team. I pretty much do like a variety of 3D modeling. And yeah, that's me.
Okay, and we actually have some of his modeling on screen right now, so that's gonna be very exciting.
Should I do a reveal?
Hold on a minute before
Okay.
revealing.
I think the screen is blank.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so in this live stream, I'm going to be asking the team a few questions, but if you guys have any questions you want to have answered as well, we'll be going through the chat, and we'll be picking out some questions that we find fun to answer. So please go ahead and send your questions in. Okay, so the first question that I have for you guys is, how did you guys join CAF Software? What are your stories to really get into this team? Starting off.
I think I can begin because I'm the first one that joined the team. Basically, I'm the second person to join the team, and the guy who actually made the team left just like 2 months after I joined. Yeah, that's basically all. I wanted to say that when the Mark Laidlaw's Epistle 3 came out, the VNN made a video on it. Under the video, on the comments, that guy actually said, the other who just created the project, he said that they're gonna make the game, and I was like, okay, I can join. I joined in. The guy left. I took over the team, and that's basically all.
So that's what happened.
Yep.
Cool.
Right. So I joined the team in like September or October 2017. The funny thing is kind of like how so I originally wanted to join Project Boreal Alyph for first-person animation. I didn't really know Unreal or Source. And like the people from Boreal Alyph found me and were like, we need to get in. We should do animation. It's so good. Like I was pretty much approached to join the team. I would say.
So they approached you.
Yeah, that's
cool.
kind of how it went. So yeah, I've joined the team. Didn't expect to do programming and so and to basically like I did not expect to be working with the engine code as it is.
Well, it's funny how things sometimes go then.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you work on one thing, and especially like when your skill can be used for different industries, then sometimes you don't really expect to be asked for like projects like this.
Yeah, I think another funny thing is that I pretty much just came from the Code Reading modding community, and this was pretty much my first time messing with Source. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is messing around with Source, is that easier, or have you been having some trouble with Source Engine's tools and stuff?
To be fair, I'm quite a quick learner in how it it didn't take me long to learn how Source works, how to get models and animations inside it, and like I'm even having fun from doing QC files. What the hell?
Well, that's great. I mean, I always imagined Source to be kind of hard to pick up on, because it isn't really like as easy as Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
I had like a friend who did some stuff in Unreal Engine as well, and he was like, "Wow, this is super easy." Then he went to look at Source, and he was like, "Oh my god, what am I looking at?"
yeah, I'm not surprised. I myself work with Unreal professionally, and yeah, it's like way easier in some aspects, but there are some aspects of it that Source just does better.
Okay, yeah, like Source has its strengths that Unreal, for example, doesn't have.
Yeah, or either it's kind of locked off behind some weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you have to brute force it to unlock it, basically.
I mean, not really to unlock it, but like it. Unreal is the kind of engine that I've been having trouble understanding how it works, and like uh, before I got this job, it took me like 7 tries, and I failed those 7 times to try and learn Unreal, but now I'm good with it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Unreal doesn't really have the same kind of assets set that Source already has, so it's kind of harder to get started with that. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think we should move on to the next person to introduce.
Yeah,
I guess if we're going in chronological order, that would be me.
Yeah.
I joined in like 2018, early February. I think it was like the 6th or something.
Uh-huh.
And I just saw the second update that Boreal Alyph put out, and it was I think it was the first video update we released. Like, you know, because there was that Reddit post. I think that was the first update. And then this one was the first video one, and I just saw it and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I'll apply some level design and a little bit of programming on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow over the course of 2 years, I just ended more and more and more stuff, and now I ended up as one of the project leads, and I do like a little bit of practically everything, and just spiraled out of control and taken over my life. So yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it is really funny on how things go sometimes. I already said this once, but you know,
Yeah,
it definitely is true in this case, and in
I can absolutely relate with that.
yeah.
'Cause,
I've
yeah,
had
like
some I've had some projects of mine that I was just like, how did I end up here? You know, even just how things progress or how things were a year ago and how they are now. Things just go wildly different than you expect sometimes.
yeah, because like I was definitely expecting this to just be like a side project for me. But then, you know, I started doing level design and programming. And I'm like, oh, well, they don't really have a sound designer, and I can do it pretty okay. I'll do sound design. And then, you know, I can start like doing particle effects. And well, I'm pretty good at texturing stuff. I'm starting to learn 3D modeling. I could do a little bit of graphics programming now. You know, just
He
like keeps
basically
adding more
does
and more
everything.
things.
A little bit of everything.
I probably by far have the most roles in this server, but anyway, I guess we should move on to Mosin.
Yes, let's go over to him. Introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Mosin. I joined September 2018, I believe, and I started off working with models. So the USP that we have in game, or the pistol or whatever, that was me. but we handed it off to David to like redo some textures and stuff like that. What else? I've done a couple of other weapons and then some props, and I also did my first character for this project recently, which we're going to show off in the next update, hopefully. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. Huh. Anyway, so what are you modeling on right now? Because you have the program ZBrush open right now.
Yep.
And I've already seen kind of what you're working on. But why don't you show the audience?
Sure. Do you want to show the concept art too, or just the model?
Yeah, if you have some concept art to show, that would be great too.
Sure. I'll show the model first, I guess. So
Yes.
that's the model.
Ooh, it's a hound
It's very
eye.
basic. Yeah, it's a hound eye. It's very basic currently, so while we're on the stream, I'll be working on it and polishing it up and make it look nice.
So while we're doing the stream, you'll be polishing it up and continuing it further, iterating on top of it and stuff, and making it look even nicer.
Yep, that's it.
All right, great. So yeah, I mean, if you got some concept art and stuff to show, we can either do it now or we could do it later. Kind of depends on whenever that
posted it.
Oh, you posted it into the Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show it in a bit then, because then I have to get the screen share off.
Okay.
So we'll do that in a bit. Let's see. Do we already have a couple questions from the audience? Don't forget to send in any questions, by the way. That would be real nice if you can get your questions answered.
Yeah, I'm already losing track of what's happening in the chat.
Yeah, I've been kind of looking at it too in the meantime, and let's see if I can find a question in here. I got someone who asks where the name "Keep Away from Fire" comes from. That question has been asked by Kawacha-cha.
I think
Yes.
I can answer the question.
Okay.
Well, it's actually kind of memey, and it's a really inside joke, because basically the idea of it was my idea. I don't want to brag. Well, where do I begin? Well, the funny thing about this is that in Poland, because I'm from Poland, if anyone asked, Poland is we have a eBay, like a small eBay from Poland, and there people just sell shoes, and they sell stuff, and basically in Poland, not everyone is really that familiar with English, and when they sell stuff, they just don't know what they type in. And the problem here is they don't know what "keep away from fire" means, and they actually type in the "keep away from fire" as a brand of the coat or trousers and shit. So yeah. That's basically what happens. And I was like, that's a really cool, fancy indie name for a team. And the fun thing is, long before CAF started, like 2 years before it started, I already made CAF. Like, it was a one-person team, and I just made a logo, and I was like, I have a team right now. And well, the idea of bringing it up again in Boreal Alyph was like my idea, and I was kind of surprised people liked it. Like, I thought it's a bit goofy. So yeah, that's all.
I mean, goofy names are the most memorable ones.
Yeah,
I guess.
Everybody's remembering "Keep Away from Fire." So I think it's a really good team name.
Well, I think it fits. Like, it's indie. It's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I like it too. It's great. It's a good name.
Well, thank you.
You did a good job on naming the team. All right, let's see. We got another. Oh, this is an interesting question from Fearanor in the chat also. How do you deal with burnouts and losing motivation while working on the project? Has that been a thing on the team yet, or have you guys been able to avoid that successfully?
I think it's impossible to avoid burnout and the uh, lack of motivation. It's definitely happened multiple times before, for me at least. Right now, when I'm when I'm working, that actually kind of helps to keep my interest in the project, because like I have two projects I'm working on, and one's getting me paid. So like so yeah, that's kind of I, I, right now I feel comfortable in like doing what I do right now, and I'm still motivated to work on BA, so that's nice.
Well, that's good. Does any of the others have anything on the burnout question?
Yeah, I can probably speak to that a little bit. Yeah, there are definitely like the project's been going on for a little over 2 years now, so there's definitely been times where people have dealt with that. I mean, usually the like we totally are okay with people just taking a break or extended leaves even for as long as they because ultimately it's just a hobby project. It's not really that important. Like you like your education, your mental health, your job, your career, whatever are more important. We understand that, of course. So yeah, like just it happens. Try and accommodate people as best as we can. I've definitely dealt with it myself. And I don't know, I guess as a side effect of like, having such a broad skill set, a lot of the times I'll feel unmotivated to work on one thing, but what I can do is just work on like another thing. Like, oh, I can get burnt out doing level design, but then like, oh, I don't know, I can go work on some code or work on some sounds or something.
Oh yeah.
At least be still a little bit productive.
Yeah. I had the same kind of feelings when I was like on an internship, for example, where I had to do this one thing constantly every day. I would just get tired real quickly, and I would just not be as productive anymore. And I guess the way that I kind of dealt with it is, I just decided to like do something else also for a moment. So that's definitely a pretty good way of dealing with it, I think. It's like doing something else. But yeah, it's burnouts is definitely a pretty big problem when it comes to these kinds of projects, especially when you're spreading yourself quite thin and like do everything at the same time. It gets a bit much sometimes.
Definitely.
All right, let's see. All right, so I got another question from my list here. How many people does a team currently consist of? How many people are working on Boreal Alyph and everything around it?
That's about 50 people right now, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we got like 50 people who are in our server and associated. I think it's like 30 who are like active members and about 20 or so who are like, regular core contributors.
Uh-huh. Okay, so there are like specific, or well, sort of, kind of like these tiers of people like working on it a little bit, and then people who work on it more than others. It kind of it goes a bit inward. Okay.
It kind of might seem like there's a lot of people working on the project, but it's kind of weird because like people from the outside kind of expect there to be a lot of people, but in here it feels like there's really just a few people working on it. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but those are still like quite a lot of people. But I guess for a project of the scale of this, you kind of need a lot of hands on board.
Yeah.
To fill a lot of to fill a lot of the roles.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, so another question from my list here. Let me see. I've seen a question like this in the chat as well. I have written this down too. But will Boreal Alyph itself be moddable? Because will savvy players be able to create their own custom maps for the game when it comes out, basically?
So like the main thing that we're focused on right now is making the game itself, and like modding is kind of a thing that we'll try to bring after release.
Okay, so that's kind
to be fair, making maps is like it's really similar to Source, like as of now. So there shouldn't be any problems with modding, like making maps, making models.
Yeah, that could kind of work out of the box, but yeah.
Yeah, in terms of like making maps, I mean, we're definitely going to include Hammer with the game. So
okay.
Yeah, it's more so code that's kind of a weird question because of license code and all that. Definitely something we'd have to like think carefully about if we can even do it at all. But and like, I guess further than that, to clarify on what was said originally, like yeah, we definitely aren't trying to be modder unfriendly, but a lot of times like, you know, we'll design some kind of system or some kind of asset or whatever, you know, that works for us, and that may not necessarily be designed in a mod friendly way, you know, because it would take like twice as long or be twice as hard. But like, we're definitely trying to consider modding where we can.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, it's not like the super main priority, but you know, for now you just need to focus on getting the game done and making the tools to accomplish that, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so we've had like a lot of graphical improvements that we already saw in Boreal Alyph. Which looks great, by the way. Like, some of the stuff that you guys have been doing is pretty amazing. But are there any more like graphical improvements coming that you can say for certainty that they're already like in the works? Or is what you guys showed off, is that already kind of it, or are you guys still implementing stuff?
So like graphics wise, it's definitely not done, but on the last update, we were still like working with and okay, sorry, I need to focus. So in the last update, which was November 2018, we've shown off that we have physically based rendering running in the vanilla render of Source.
Yeah.
Right now, as it is, and I'm just gonna throw it out that everything's a work in progress. It could change with time, and yeah. Right now we're running on the deferred renderer with dynamic lighting.
Oh, right.
So, for example, brushes can receive specular highlights, and one thing that we've improved upon with the physically based rendering that we couldn't do without the engine license was cube maps. The algorithm that we used before that it did a texture fetch or texture sample like a ton of times per pixel, and with an engine license we were able to we were able to like optimize that a lot. And so the performance right now with physically based rendered stuff is actually very similar to the vanilla shaders, like Vertex Look Generic or like Matte Generic. It's amazing, honestly. So yeah, dynamic lighting. Also, subsurface scattering. The algorithm for that had been tweaked, and the algorithm for that had been tweaked to like be easier to use, but it also kind of looks different than the thing we showcased in the video. but it looks great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like seeing kind of how the head crabs, like how the light kind of shines through it in a way. It looks quite amazing. It really gives them more of a realistic look,
Yeah.
kind of issue. And yeah, it's just a very noticeable improvement. And with the dynamic lighting and stuff like that, like Source just missed that a lot, I guess, and it still does in like an official way.
Yeah.
I'm just really glad to see a lot of these mods doing more custom stuff and like custom lighting,
Yeah.
like bringing Source a bit more up to date.
Yeah. So some of that stuff is really hard to implement without an engine license. I'm glad we got to where we are. Also, one thing that I wanted to mention with subsurface scattering, the reason why it looks kind of different is because we weren't really able to port it over to the deferred render as it is. So like, yeah, due to how that works, it just a little bit different. But with the human tests that we did, it looks amazing.
Okay, yeah, you can really see the light like shine through the ears, kind of.
Yeah.
To the skin, basically. It's also the new subsurface scattering also makes it way easier to work with, especially with human skin. So it's nice.
But like, how like for material creation, right? How like, for example, if a modder were to insert a texture into the game, and this is another modding question, but if like is it just like a property assigned to the material, or is it done in a different way? How is it determined?
It's a property assigned to a material.
Okay.
You don't have to supply a thickness map to it, but it looks better with that for sure.
Okay, yeah. So you could really tell a source what to shine light through and stuff with a thickness map.
Yeah, like you just supply a thickness map, and that says where on the texture it, or like how strong it is on certain parts of the texture. And then I think there are 2 parameters or 3 parameters. One is just like how strong the effect is, and then the second is what color it is. That's basically it. Yeah, and those are just like regular old parameters in the material file, just like regular source.
Okay. So it's pretty easy to implement then.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Let's see. Because one of my questions also on the list were like, what can you guys do with the engine license? You can really dig deeper into the code and really like get the most out of the source engine, of course. But so like one of my questions on the list that you just kind of already answered is like, what can you guys really do that wouldn't have been able at all if you guys didn't have an engine license?
So yeah, the major thing for me at least is the one I mentioned before, that we can have like actually blurred cube maps at a very low cost, low performance cost, and that's one thing. A second thing that really helps with the pipeline, with the out pipeline, I've added support for extra formats for texture conversion. So like you can use PNGs or even JPEGs with vtext to batch convert all textures. So that's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Hey, if you don't mind, I want to interject because this has been brought up twice, but it hasn't been really explained. So yeah, the thing she's talking about with blurred cube maps, physically based rendering works on this idea of roughness, which basically, like, to sum it up, like you have like cardboard or something, and it has reflections, but they're really like diffuse and not well defined.
Oh yeah,
versus
yeah.
something like glass, which has perfect sharp reflections.
Oh
And
right.
so with physically based rendering, you need like a way to like blur or sharpen the cube maps. And
Mhm.
the only way we could do that before was to actually calculate on the fly, like blur it in real time. But that's really
Oh
expensive. So
yeah.
like the performance enhancement is we with the engine license, Luna was able to implement a thing that pre-calculates the blur. So instead of like doing all this computation to like blur the cube map, it's just loading.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is like okay. I'm at this level of roughness, so like I'll load these. Like I'm between like 0.8 and 0.7 or whatever. So I'll just like take the 0.8 blurred and the 0.7 blurred, and I'll just blend between those, and it's way faster.
Uh-huh. Okay. Huh. And like that's also defined in material properties, or is that a
It
different system entirely?
it's also like the roughness of the material that's defined uh, in the texture. Like
Oh, in the texture
yeah,
itself.
yeah.
So okay.
With our PBR
Yeah,
system, we have like three base textures: albedo, or base texture or color map, whatever you call it.
Mhm.
Normal, same deal. And
Yeah.
we have a packed texture that we call MROs. God, MROs, what the fuck? Anyway, it's the metalness is in the red channel. The green channel has roughness, and the blue channel has occlusion. And yeah, that's
Oh,
pretty
right.
much three things in one texture.
Okay. Huh.
yeah, it's basically the same as like any modern game with physically based rendering. But we just like combine them and
Oh, okay.
into like one texture just to save on space.
Mhm. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, because how I know I've tried to add materials to the source engine myself before. Then I had like a completely separate texture for the normals, for example. But you can just
Yeah, you still got
merge
to
that
do
into
that.
one texture, basically.
Well, yeah, to like clarify, like the MRO, it's yeah, because I talked about roughness already, and that's just like a black and white texture of like, okay, how rough or how like smooth this is. And then
Mhm.
there's metalness, which is just like like how metallic is it, basically. Just
When if the surface is metal or not, pretty
Oh, okay.
much.
yeah, and then there's occlusion, which is just ambient occlusion. It's just like, okay, where are the shadows on this thing? And then those are all just like one color in a and so like you just hook those up to like the different color channels into one texture, one image,
Okay.
which like most games I believe do stuff like that. It's just
Yep,
the
yep.
only thing about an MRO is just the order in which we're doing it.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, so this just kind of works basically like how modern game engines work as well in terms of material interpretation in that way.
Yeah, right now the packing is still done manually, but over time it will be great if we were able to create a tool to sort of automate that process.
Mhm. Yeah, so you don't have to do all that work yourself the entire time for a new
Yeah.
material. Mhm.
What is convenient though is that since we're working with the same workflow as, like modern tools, we can use stuff like Substance Painter or Quixel Mixer or like whatever. And those have support for like outputting stuff for like different channels. So you can just like set up in Substance Painter. You can set up, put the metalness in the red and put the roughness in the green and put the ambient occlusion in the blue. And you can just have it
Yeah,
export
so you don't
like
have to do all
ready
that
to
work.
go texture or ready to go MRO texture for our engine automatically. And it's
Okay.
definitely a lot faster than like having to manually pack stuff in like vanilla
Yeah.
source.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can totally imagine that. So the new
Yeah.
tools really do help for the workflow improvements as well.
Oh yeah, creating textures for Boreal Alyph is like 10 times easier and more intuitive and faster than like using the vanilla stuff.
Is it kind of like how in Real Engine you almost just like drag and drop a texture in to something and work off it that way, or is it different still?
Oh, yeah, let me clarify what I said earlier. Like, it's still like actually actually putting the textures in the game is still the exact same as vanilla source currently. Like, you make a VTF file and a VMT. But what I'm talking about is just like the actual creation of the textures.
Oh, right. Okay. So so the actual creation process
like,
before it's being put in the engine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Huh. Okay. That is pretty cool. Let's see. Do we have some questions in the chat right now that we might be able to get answered?
I see a question of 4 on the Arctic animals, like Arctic animals, like the Handai and etc. question is recycled all the time. I think the question is gonna be answered when you see the concept art.
Okay, yeah. Well, we can go check out the concept art right now. Just to kind of part of Discord's currently in my taskbar for some reason. Let's see if I can get this going.
I'm going to have to leave for like a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay, that's fine. All right, let's see. Aha. There we go. So it got like some fluff going on right there. Sort of. Those spikes right there. All right. So this is the concept art for the Hound Eye, basically.
Right.
Okay. Well, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, you got like a bit of fluff there, and like, I do really like it. It looks great. Huh. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go to the next question.
I'd honestly say that after the VNA gameplay, I think the project actually got a lot of progress, and like the most progress like ever.
I'd say 14 months, and so I actually have an old version on the Steam branch that is like from before we got an engine license, and like there's just a lot that can change. Graphics, some new levels, weapons, even I think.
Compared to what was before, it looks like a completely new game.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's so many things that have like changed that I can't even keep track of them all.
So like the HUD and stuff that was shown in the gameplay, has that changed since?
Yeah,
that hasn't changed too.
Oh, that's cool. And like
I gotta assure you, it has changed for better.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
Then I'm really excited to see some more of that eventually. Oh, and the map that Tyler was playing through, has that been changed?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's like, I mean, if the HUD and stuff has changed, and that should have been that's changed as well.
Yeah, pretty much none of the maps from like back then have really survived intact, but we've got a lot of new maps in the works.
Okay. And then like is there gonna be like a demo of the game ever that people can play real quick, just for like just to see you know, kind of like a little slice of what the game's about? Or are you guys still ways off from like releasing a public demo like that?
We are still like way off releasing the demo, but
Oh, okay.
that's not really something that I mean, like we're still thinking about it.
We had plans for it, to be honest, and it's not like we used to have plans. We actually had plans, and I think we haven't decided on it yet.
Okay. Well, that's fine. But yeah, like
Yeah, I feel like the discussion's kind of trending towards like, yeah, we should do it, but like the jury's still out on like what exactly that would be and if we're actually going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So-
more like yes than no.
Okay.
And
Well,
I think the thing is that like if we were to, like for an argument for releasing them, would be pretty much that at least we would have something out there. It's like kind of waiting until the game is done is like it's a very risky option. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because like you think of something like Black Mesa. They didn't release anything until they had like most of the game done.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
they're the exception and not really the rule. Like it's because like we could sit here and we could work. We could not release anything until we have a full game, but like that's kind of a risky prospect because
Yeah.
This takes a while and like you can't tell what's going to happen in the future.
Because
so, like there's
I've
no
really-
guarantee that we won't like something won't happen and like the game or like development like won't fall apart. That's just how mods are. It's just one of the risks that comes with it. So like
yeah, exactly.
like trying to release something, anything is like as soon as you can, as soon as you have something worthy of release is there's definitely a benefit to doing that.
And you can like get feedback from other players in the community to kind of see what the general public really thinks about it. Because I think Black Mesa really did benefit from that, from player feedback. As they made some they're like currently making some changes to the maps and making them easier or more fun to play in their most recent update, the most recent public beta.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it could be an idea to really get player feedback and to see what do people think about this, and what can we improve, or what works really well with the game as it currently stands. But that's obviously not for now something to think about. That's for way later once things are more final-ish.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I got another question from the chat. Let's see if I can get to it real quick. There we go. The dialogues and the voice acting. Have you guys started on that already? That's been asked by Siami.
I think I could probably answer that best.
Okay.
So, yes and no. Like for example, you're like different kinds of voice acting have different priority. For example, like a big focus of this mod is improving like the combat with Combine soldiers, because there are a lot of like videos out there explaining this in more detail, but there's kind of a lot of flaws with it in Half-Life 2. So one of the things, or one of the parts of that is overhaul, or is like revoicing them, because in vanilla Half-Life 2 the Combine voices are basically impossible to understand for a lot of people and hard to understand for most.
Yeah.
In, like the middle of gameplay. Like if you sit and listen to the files in isolation, then yeah, you can get most of what they're saying, but like when you're actually playing,
Yeah, most of the
like,
time.
it almost sounds like radio static sometimes to some
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
So like, if you look at something like Fear, which like everyone agrees that has really good, there's like some of the best FPS AI out there,
Mm-hmm.
and like the enemies in Fear are pretty similar in basic idea to Combine Soldiers, so we're looking at them a lot. Like you can very clearly hear what they say, and like it really adds to the experience. Like you can hear them talking to each other, and it makes them feel like they're like more intelligent than they really are,
Yeah.
and like the way they react to what you're doing, like it makes the player feel better. So like that kind of voice acting is actually important to gameplay, so like we're focusing on that.
Oh,
But like
cool.
the voice acting of characters, that like that's for later down the line. Like we can make, because like everything is constantly changing about like what characters would be saying in the game, and like what characters there even are. So
Mm-hmm.
we're just waiting for that.
Okay, so you guys are kind of waiting until you guys got like the story more finalized and the characters more finalized until the voice acting process can start.
Yeah, like we got a few voice actors that are around and we're gonna use for certain like main characters, but like they're just kind of waiting until we have something. Like they're not like actively voicing right now.
Okay. Oh well, okay. That answers that question pretty well, I guess. Let's see. Okay, I got another question from Rupert Johnson. What about optimization?
So like the thing that I have to keep in mind with the Fed is that the Fed renders use up a lot of GPU bandwidth, so that can be an issue. And like
Mm-hmm.
this is pretty much why I say that the graphic stuff is like it could change like it could change a lot before release, so like nothing is set in stone.
No.
I'm even considering like going back to forward and like re-implementing the dynamic stuff in the forward render. So like yeah,
Uh-huh. Just to like clean it up a
that's
bit.
that's like for later.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys
But
are keeping optimization in mind, at least for the game,
yeah,
because a lot of people are very like torn on like how Black Mesa is optimized. I guess kind of that's what the question was arised from.
yeah.
But like I'm not sure if the game will, and you guys probably don't even know for sure if the game's gonna run better than Black Mesa or worse.
Yeah, well, I tested it recently on a GPU from like 2013, and it kind of worked. So
Oh well,
maybe,
that's at least a very good sign then. 2013,
Yeah.
even though it seems not too far, too long ago, it's actually quite a long time ago.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
If you really
7
think about it.
years.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
2013 like it was yesterday, almost.
oh my god,
Time flies
2013
by so quickly.
yeah, 2013 was when I first started modding Call of Duty. So.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's so long ago.
Yeah,
But it's just 2013 when you say it out loud. It's like, oh, that was last year or something, you know.
Yeah. And I think about it, I was like, man, I was still in high school in 2013.
Yeah. Man, in 2013, I was still doing weird comedy sketch videos. That's a long time ago.
that's interesting.
uh, it's in yeah. I did man. I made so many weird decisions and videos. It's nothing really stuck. But anyway, that's not really important right now. What is important is the next question. I think I'm gonna take one from my document again. Do you guys approximately know how many new models and textures currently are already in the game, or is that really hard to tell?
So like it I could sort of answer it, like, but it's
Mhm.
also kind of like a difficult question to answer because of changes in like organization. But right now we have a proper repository for texture sources, and like I can actually I can actually check what has been and I can actually check the raw textures as they are, and build them. There's like already easily like 100. I mean, I'm kind of like estimating, but.
I mean, an estimation is fine. It doesn't have to be like exact numbers. Like, I want to know exactly how many new things are there.
Yeah. So for textures in the game, I just opened the properties of the material folder, and it tells me how many files there are. So on average, like per material, there are going to be 5 files, like the material file, or like actually no, it'd be 4, like the material file, the diffuse texture, the MRO, and the normal. So there are 2,329 files in the materials folder. So there are probably like approximately 500, and this number is going to be wrong for a lot of reasons, but like let's say in the ballpark of 500.
Oh damn, that's a lot of textures.
Not all of, but like a lot of those probably aren't like necessarily like like a texture that you put in a map or whatever. It's just like like engine textures or whatever.
Oh yeah, trigger textures, stuff like that too.
Yeah, kind of basically. This is a really inaccurate guess, but
it's around the 500-ish.
Luna's answer is probably going to be better, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've actually checked for configuration files for like how the textures should be processed, and there's like 200 config files for each texture. But VTeX can still work without those. So like the number could be different.
Yeah, it's probably like around 300 something to be like more accurate if you're thinking of like actual like textures that cool shiny new things, not just like random crap.
Okay, so it's around the 300, but that's still a lot of new textures. Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Like, kind of makes me wonder how many textures Half-Life 2 used to have, or still has.
I don't think I can elaborate.
No. But like, it kind of just makes me wonder. There's a lot of work going into these kinds of things, and everything, all like kinds of like custom textures have to be made. And you guys are really not like using any textures from Half-Life 2, right? Or are there still like some?
I mean, people use Half-Life 2 textures like making maps as just like placeholders, but like not.
It's great for reference when you get like a wooden wall, wooden place. So like you're looking for a particular texture. HL2 fits like sort of. You just place it as a placeholder. It works fine for a while.
Yeah, and then that lets that lets like texture artists know later, like, oh, this is the stuff that the mappers want. I should make something like this.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of just like as a placeholder. That's what it's used for. Okay. Huh, that's pretty cool. Just Half-Life 2 textures, but then as placeholders for better textures. Let's see. Let's see if we got more questions from the chat here. Oh, this one's pretty interesting as well. Fearnor asks what you guys' thoughts are on the current state of the Half-Life community, with so many mods and games being in development, and even Valve, who suddenly comes back out of the darkness with Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, like what do you guys think of the current state of the community?
Huh.
I'd say that. Go ahead, David.
Oh no, you can go ahead.
All right. I'd say the community is rising again because of the HLLX. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now. There was a lot of stuff happening after the episode 3 thing happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys happened right after that. You know, and then
yeah. So basically, right now, this is the rise of the HL community over again. So, other than that, the question about the, what we think about other projects. Some people in the chat were asking about mmod, and I think we're gonna pass on this question.
okay, that's fine. Also, this question just came up at me, but like, what do you guys think of Half-Life Alyx as a game? Because has it affected development of Boreal Alyph in any way, or is it just, are you guys just kind of like, oh cool, Half-Life Alyx is coming out, but we're just gonna keep doing the same thing?
It's definitely it definitely brought some motivation for us.
Okay.
This is kind of weird because people were talking about how if Valve releases a new game, a new Half-Life game, it's the Half-Life fan projects are gonna die out, and like, no, I guess the opposite has happened.
Yeah.
No, like since Half-Life Alyx, like the community has felt more vibrant and alive than it has in like years.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool, new things. This is giving me ideas to work on stuff. So the same old crap we've seen for 13 years.
Yeah, and also the retcons. The retcons in Alyx.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so basically it just brought a lot of motivation into the team to like keep on working on the mod.
Yeah,
in a way.
Definitely.
Okay, well that's very cool. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, so I got another question for my document here. In terms of the sound design, have you guys done anything sound design related? I mean, I know you guys have done like the music and stuff like that, which sounds incredible, by the way. You guys may have some really, really good music for the mod already. But is there like stuff from other types of sound design that you guys did for the mod, and you know, how is that going to be in the mod?
So I'm basically like the main sound designer, so I guess I'll answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
Sound design is a huge focus of this mod. Like, it's, I'm treating it as like up there with like the graphics on the same level. Like,
yes,
there's not a single sound that isn't going to go like majorly overhauled. And like, aside from even just like making new sound assets, like I'm going through and I'm changing how like the sounds work in code, or let me clarify, like I'm changing like the systems in like entities that play sounds. Like, for example, you have the helicopter in Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
And the sound for that is, it just like has one looped sound, and it like uses this thing in the engine to fade between distance, so it sounds different when it's far away.
Oh yeah.
But the way that works is really limited. It like, because like the way it works is basically you have a stereo audio track, so like left and right channel, and then the left channel is the sound for close up, and the right channel is the sound for far away. And that's a pretty cool idea, but you can't change, or like without an engine license, I guess you can change it with, but like you can't change like what the distance of that is, and like like you can't have like a stereo sound for each one. You have to have a mono sound, and that's kind of old and janky.
Yeah.
So like what I did is like I'm like manually redoing that in the helicopter, so there are 3 different full stereo sound of like the sounds being way more modern and like immersive and impressive, so like just like increasing just the fidelity of like how sounds react and behave.
Swiss.
Oh yeah, I got a crowbar and I hit like different things with it and recorded it, and the crowbar makes different sounds when you hit different stuff too.
Oh, that's cool. So we got like actual realistic crowbar sounds now.
Yeah,
Ooh,
somewhat.
the remastered crowbar.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
crowbar. It's really satisfying to hit things with the crowbar. I'll say that.
Oh, that's nice.
Sometimes I just launch the game, take the crowbar, and hit the metal wall. It's so satisfying.
Yeah, also-
You guys should just like release a DLC, a crowbar simulator. Just you're playing as a crowbar, just hitting everything. Just trying to rack up as many points as possible.
But yeah, one final thing I'll add is we're also we're currently working on, they're in kind of like a work in progress stage right now, but we're working on some technological overhauls
Ooh.
to replace like the default sound engine.
The
But
what kind of sound system was Source using again?
it was using a software package called Miles.
Yeah, Miles. I knew it was some sort of name, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's Miles.
we're working on an Fmod implementation, which, you know, to sum that up, basically, it's like a more modern audio engine, and it has a lot more cool features and like software tools you can do with it. It's
Yeah,
it's heavy work in progress. I can't really guarantee what extent that'll work in the final game, but you know, we're, in addition to just like sound design, we're also working on some like tech overhauls too.
Okay. Huh, that's interesting. Because like Fmod is also being used by some AAA games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even indies, the licensing is like really indie friendly. It's awesome.
Well, that's really good. Thinking about the indies out there, because you have these like I think Miles, that sound system. Not only is it like an ancient sound system, but like I think the licensing for that.
Like,
I think GTA 3 used the same sound system. Miles.
Isn't GTA 3 like a very old game?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, GTA 3 came out in like, or at least for PC, came out in like 2002, I believe. 2001 for PS2.
I've just remembered that Call of Duty 4 also used Miles, and that was like, and that's a game from 27. Wait.
2007.
Language, sorry, 2007.
I thought you were about to say 2017. I'm like, what?
I'm so used to saying those like 2-digit years from this century.
2020, 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
It rolls off the tongue a lot better than 2019 or 2016 or 2007. Oh, wait, yeah, I get what you mean by like 2003. You have to say the whole 2000.
Yeah.
And stuff. But now you can just say 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot easier to say. But yeah, Miles is just an ancient relic. So like Fmod would definitely bring a lot more improvements to the audio systems.
Yeah.
Make everything sound a lot more crispy and high definition.
Yeah, sort of. Like Fmod also like would give us like way more tools to play around with, and also it's really more artist friendly.
Yeah, like that's the main thing, because I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, it's just telling your computer to play an audio file, so it's gonna sound the same if it's being told to play by Miles versus being told to play by Fmod. But like, just like all the nuance and like the different features and like the tools you can use to like mix different things, like it just offers so much more flexibility than Miles.
Okay, well then, I'm really looking forward to hearing the crowbar whack some wood in the game. Oh, that would be such a satisfying experience. I thought the crowbar in Half-Life 2 was already quite satisfying to use, but ooh. I really wonder what it's going to be like in Boreal Alyph now then. Let's see. We got another question by Red025 Shepherd. Let's see. Is Adrian Shepherd going to be coming back to Boreal Alyph?
No, I very much doubt it.
No. Like, he repeated the same question a few times, so I just wanted to get that answered. But no, yeah. Adrian Shepherd is still in stasis. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, will we see any other Half-Life 1 monsters in Boreal Alyph? Maybe Snarks or Hound Eyes and Bull Squids? This is a question by Roya Hell in the chat.
Well, I mean, the Hound Eyes right here.
The Hound Eyes
So
being
that answers that one.
modeled. So that's out of the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, we have a functioning overhauled Bull Squid NPC in game.
Ooh.
Because yeah, we just kind of collectively decided that we're tired of antlines, and they kind of played out in Half-Life 2 of the episodes.
Yeah.
And we just want like a different feel for like the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we decided to just collectively replace them with Hound Eyes and Bull Squids. As for other stuff, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna bring back Snarks.
No.
I probably like one of the things we kind of want to focus on is like Zen wildlife, because I feel like that was we feel like that was a big missed opportunity in Half-Life 2 to like show how like the world, the environment has changed with all this alien stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We did a little bit, but like I don't know, some of the ideas they had in the beta, a lot of us agreed were like pretty interesting, like all the infestation.
Yeah.
So we might end up bringing back some of the like, not like enemy NPCs, but like stuff like the tentacles or like those light stalks of stuff. Maybe like flora basically.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, because you did have the
Yeah.
antlion caves in episode 2, which are pretty nice looking and pretty scary in some ways when you first played it, especially with that guardian running after you. I still like my adrenaline still pumps when I'm like running away from that guardian into these tunnels.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so you guys basically want to add a lot more Zen fauna into the game, or flora. I meant.
Yeah, something because like the Arctic, is pretty obviously kind of a dead, desolate place. So, like, yeah, it's a neat idea, and it imparts a little bit more life into the environment. So we're definitely looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that's more of an art thing, so like we're not like actually doing anything about that right now, but
that's
something
for later.
We want to focus on later on.
Okay. So basically, like the idea is that Zen creatures have just taken over the Arctic, or in some capacity.
Yeah, I'd say there. We have some interesting ideas, fairly fleshed out ideas on that, but I don't know. We'll see, basically.
Okay. We will see about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, will the more biological enemies have gibs? That's a question from Lassie Halen. So, like, will we be able to get arms ripped off and stuff like that?
Probably to some capacity. Yeah, that's something a lot of people brought up, so it's definitely like in the discussion, but we haven't like actually implemented kind of jigs or anything. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you also have to be careful with it not being like too overly exaggerated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of Half-Life 2 mods, like I don't know, you'll like blow up a human and they'll just like perfectly cleanly separate into 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, and a head or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't really look all that convincing. So like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Black Mesa does it a lot as well. The gibbing of NPCs.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
always kind of looked a bit, kind of. I guess it didn't. It doesn't really look that convincing. But yeah, it's
yeah. So if we do Gibbs, it'll probably be more like, you know, like an explosion will like blow off an arm, or like, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
like more toned down, more realistic kind of.
more toned down gibbing. Okay. Let's see.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I got another question by Totori9, I think is how you pronounce that. Um, so are there any improvements on Hammer? I thought you guys had something like uh to say about that. Let's see.
Um, I don't know. Unless someone else has something they want to say, I guess I can talk about that a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So originally we had quite ambitious plans to like overhaul Hammer from like the ground up. We were calling it Blacksmith at the time, but I don't know. It pretty quickly fizzled out because we realized that one, like Hammer is ancient and you can't easily just like hack modern stuff into it, and you know it's just really a hell of a lot of work. So our plans have definitely become a lot more constrained. We're not going to be like doing some Source 2 Hammer level overhaul or anything. We're just going to be
No.
taking the basic Hammer and improving it. What we have currently is we have the source code to Slarty Barty's Slammin' Hammer source tools, if anyone is familiar with that, which is basically an already somewhat improved version of Hammer, or not somewhat, a substantially improved version of Hammer, but and we're taking that and then we're working further from it. So, you know, there will definitely be a lot of improvements, some of which are specific to the game. Like, for example, the texture browser has a checkbox to filter for only physically based rendering materials.
Oh, that's handy.
And there are a couple of extra improvements of like navigation and stuff. So, if someone is familiar with Maya, we've added a few camera controls to make it work more like that. That are generally a lot more convenient and easier to use than Vanilla Hammer. So,
yeah,
for
exactly.
example, in like Vanilla Hammer,
Squad.
yeah, in Vanilla Hammer, if you like want to go from one end of the map to another, you basically just have to use WASD and then like scroll. So if you have a big map, you just have to scroll for like 30 seconds to get across it.
To scroll until your fingers are
so
sore.
so now what we have is you can click on an object and press F, and it'll automatically frame it. It'll just like snap your view to it and frame it. So like you can just click on stuff and then frame it. And also, like, you know, Hammer has the 3D view and then like the 2D views. And sometimes it's hard to find stuff in the 2D views.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can select it in 3D. You can move your mouse over to a 2D panel and then hit F, and it'll do the same thing. It'll like zoom in and frame on it automatically.
Oh my god, that is such a nice improvement. Because if you have like a lot going on in the map, like the 2D wireframe views, they just look like a garbled mess eventually.
Yeah, it's the little things like that that might not seem like much, but in the long run, they just save a lot of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and have you guys implemented like a hotkey to like rotate something?
No, but I've definitely like thought about things we could possibly do to make like manipulating stuff easier.
Yeah, because like what I came across when I was doing some level editing stuff is like if I rotated like a wall or wanted to rotate a wall, I had to like press Control M and then like type in like 90 degrees and then hit enter, and then it would turn. But I've seen like some mapping tools where you can just hit like Control R or something like that, and it would just rotate it straight away. And those are just like the kind of little things that improve the mapping experience so much.
Yeah, Hammer has like a snap rotate feature already where it'll like automatically snap to like 15 degrees, so like you don't
Yeah.
have to use Control M. But you know it's
Okay.
still like not ideal. So like we're definitely thinking of like we're always thinking of new stuff to like make Hammer better.
Okay. Huh. I see another cool question in the chat actually. It basically comes down to, will the G-Man be in Boreal Alyph?
Yeah, I'm sure he will. It'd be kind of a really big character to just cut and not have show up again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty. It's pretty obviously that he's gonna be present, and give a little speech probably as well. Let's see. See if there are any more good questions. Ooh. Will you guys will there be any boss battles in the game? Any like big any big boss battles like the Gonarch?
Oh
Something
boy,
like that.
that's a whole topic.
Yeah.
Me and our game design lead and the rest of the team have definitely had a lot of discussions about that. It's something that we kind of want to avoid because it's always been somewhat of a weak point in the Half-Life 2 games, and just aside from like a really big spectacle like the like the Nylon was really cool in Half-Life 2 with the Goddard, or not Half-Life 2, Half-Life 1. But I don't know, like the gameplay, like one big boss battles take a lot of work to like make really cool and interesting.
Yeah,
And
I can
at the
see
same
that.
time, they're not applicable to like the rest of the game. It's just like one contained thing, and you move on. So it's a lot of work for something that doesn't easily translate. That's kind of not really all that great of a fit for Half-Life 2's gameplay as well. So like a big, huge, epic boss battle, or whatever. I don't know. We're kind of trending away from that kind of thing and focusing more on like making like the regular base level gameplay a lot more interesting. I guess I won't necessarily say there won't be any kind of boss battle of any kind, but like I doubt we're gonna like do something like the Gunark in Black Mesa and have like it be like that, like that big of a thing. Probably. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think we have about 10 minutes left on the clock here for the live stream. Let's see if there are any more questions that the audience wants to have answered. In the meantime, let's go take a look at the Hound Eye, because there has been a lot of progress made on it. So what exactly has been happening with it? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I kind of realized I messed up with merging the models, and it just made it a little harder to work with. So right now I'm just rebuilding like the top shell and making it look nicer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, so it's still very rough in details. Yeah, it doesn't look too good right now, but eventually it'll get there.
But it does look pretty nice already, though. Like you've added some. I've been keeping a glance on it while we were streaming. Yeah, I really do start to like the spiky things on the back.
Oh yeah.
I'll just say this. I don't want to reveal too much, but if our results on past creatures we've made are any indicator, I'm definitely very excited for how the Hound Eye is going to turn out.
Ooh. Yeah, I can't wait to eventually see the end result of this.
Yeah.
It may look jank now, but don't worry.
Yeah, but anything looks at least a little bit jank while it's in production, or while it's like being worked on. You know, it's not the finished thing. Definitely not.
No, yeah, it's still a lot left to do.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
you're doing a great job, at least.
Thanks.
I
Thank you.
really
Yeah.
like what is being made here. So let's see
Oh
if
man, even in this hour and 20 minutes, wow, it's been a lot of progress.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I already asked that. I already asked that too. Oh yeah, so another question that I had on my list here is: are you guys planning on a Steam release? Will the mod be available on Steam eventually?
Yeah, definitely 100%.
It will
Yeah,
100%
it's already
be.
on. Yeah, it's already on Steam. So
Oh, okay, so it's already
it's just
like
not
in the
publicly available.
pipelines there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We use Steam to distribute the game build to our developers. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh. So a Steam release is definitely in the question then.
I mean, I've already paid the $100 for an app ID, so of course I'm gonna make you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Huh. Okay. Um. Oh, yeah, this is a really good question. So, what's the next major update going to be like, and when is that going to be released? Do you guys have an ETA on that already?
We're
When it's
hoping
done,
soon, but the real answer is when it's done. Trademark.
Aha. When it's done.
When it's
We may
done.
actually have some screenshots to show off.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. We
Just
should go
in-
over we should go over some of those screenshots then. See what we got.
Yeah, David, can you bring the screenshots here?
Yeah. Hold up.
You see, I'll turn the capture over there off for a moment so we can put the screenshots there so we can look at them.
Can't post.
Oh yeah, we're going to take a look at some Boreal Alyph screenshots. Hope you guys have been enjoying the stream, by the way.
One second. There are a couple ones on.
I think oh yeah, did you disable the Discord stream? I mean, fuck. I said
Yeah,
it.
I just disabled it. I just disabled it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Let's see. Ooh, got some packages here. Let me fetch them real quick. Ooh, okay, so if I can easily implement that into the stream. I think I can. Okay, here we go. So this is I see it's an AR2. And it's ooh, that looks pretty good. And that's the new HUD kind of that you guys have
Yeah,
implemented.
because
You can
there's
see it on the
there's a delay in the stream, so I don't know which one you're looking at.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm looking
Oh,
at
okay.
the
Oh, it just updated.
Okay. Yeah, it's the AR it's a screenshot of the AR2 with the kind of aiming at the containers. The shipping containers.
Yeah, there's a if you scroll down, there's a better, like, cleaner shot of the AR2 in isolation too. Yeah, that's
Oh, right.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
got
a
it.
pretty fairly early work in progress, Matt.
One graphics thing I forgot to mention that I'm so happy that I've implemented. It's the view model shadows. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
an FPS. It's not an FPS game if it doesn't have view model shadows.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Unfortunately,
There's
these
a better
screenshots,
shot
I
of
think,
the
don't
AR2.
really.
By the way.
Yeah, the screenshots don't really show off the shadows that well. It's kind of unfortunate. I was gonna redo them, but I didn't get up soon enough in time before the stream, and I forgot to do it. So.
Oh well, just imagine
Oh,
the
well.
shadows being there.
Yes. There are cool shadows on the view model, and there's even a little thing that, like, simulates, like, the presence of your head. So like
Oh.
even though you can't see your body, it actually casts shadows on the view model.
That's
I've
cool.
actually temporarily disabled that because I didn't really because that was kind of too hard to wrap my head around in terms of implementing it. But yeah,
Okay,
that's
never
it.
mind then.
So I got the gravity gun here as well. That looks like a really nice high definition model. I gotta say that's really nice. I had this mod installed for Half-Life 2 update that also had like this high definition gravity gun with like cleaner textures and stuff, and it really reminds me of this. But this is great. This is
Oh, yeah, I
really
think I
like
know the one you're talking about. Yeah,
uh-huh.
I was the one who textured the gravity gun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just textured it. Mosin and Capo, I think, made the model. But
Okay, well it looks great.
yeah, I probably definitely looked at that exact one you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And there are also a couple of little neat surprises we're planning. Like the glow on the gravity gun kind of softly pulses and fades. It's not
Ooh,
just static. And like we're working on like having like kind of a subtly animated texture too.
that's really cool. That's gonna breathe some new life into the gravity gun right there.
And also, what we're working on is like having the gravity gun emit an actual light in the world.
Uh-huh.
But
Oh,
yeah,
right.
we'll see
I
when
think
that's finished.
I think there are some Gary's mod add-ons for that do that. By the way,
Hmm.
that is pretty cool.
Interesting.
I think I think I have it
I-
installed still.
I've just realized that it could have been even better if we had like a set of screenshots where cube maps are disabled versus when cube maps are enabled, because
Mm-hmm.
you because on the screenshot with the gravity gun you could see the sky reflecting on the HEV suit in a
Oh yeah,
really cool way.
this one.
And the reflections are not sharp. They are blurred.
That's really yeah. You can definitely see some of that blue come across on the suit there, or at least some of the sky. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, I wish I could do like I wish I had a comparison screenshot of like the textures using PBR and the textures using just regular old Vertex look generic. It doesn't look like a super huge difference at a glance,
Mm-hmm.
all the time, but then you like compare them and it's like, oh my god, this is like a whole different level.
Oh my god. Okay, I got some got another screenshot right here. Let me get rid of that one and let me put this one in. Ooh, it's the Lonely Wastes one.
Oh,
With the big head statue on the on the left. Ooh. It's you can really see the sky there with the moon and some of the lighting on that car. That looks great. There's like a little fire.
yeah,
You can see like this
this is,
shadow going on inside the car as well. It's like diagonal shadow through it. Materials just that's also really a testament to PBR right there. The materials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is kind of my one of my art pass test maps, which I thought looked really neat.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Definitely
yeah, that's really
focusing
nice.
on the sky there.
Mm-hmm. I really love that sky textures. It's super simplistic, but it works so well.
Not to toot my own horn or anything, but you see the stars there? Those aren't actually part of the skybox. Those are a separate dome texture that follows the player around, and they have a special shader that makes them flicker and like pulse like real stars.
Oh, that's cool.
Didn't you also make a shader that pretty much took the actual position of the stars and?
Oh, that's not a shader. That's just the textures. But yes, the stars are actually accurate to the real world. Like if you look up in the upper left corner, you can see the Big Dipper.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. So it's just an accurate representation of the real star field out there.
Yeah,
the starry sky. That's nice.
I love how I really love David's attention to detail like that. It's great.
Yeah, I found this like sphere map texture on NASA's website that's totally free to use for anything. So I was like, man, there's no excuse not to use real stars.
Yeah, exactly.
So to interrupt, but I just want to say that I'll be right back.
Okay. That's okay.
But yeah, given like the Arctic and Half-Life 2 takes place in late fall, so it's definitely going to be like towards winter in the Arctic. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The sun is down a lot of the time, and then so we definitely want to like make dim lighting conditions look pretty good.
But yeah, I really cannot stress how much I like that fire there with the lighting that passes off on the truck. That's some really nice lighting there. That's great. I love that. All right, let's see. We got some more screenshots, some combat screenshots right here.
Ah, yes.
Let's go load those in. Ooh. So, we're in some sort of garage kind of thing. Kind of situation. A couple combines. I see an item crate there. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, that's
No,
go ahead.
You can see like the material on the right there on the wood cargo hold of the truck. That looks really nice. Is that like is that with physically based rendering as well, or is that just bump maps?
Oh yeah, no, that's everything here except the episode 2 tire stack models and the glass and the depth textures is PBR. So like that pile of rubble on the floor are the combine soldiers, the view model, the trucks. That's all PBR.
That looks really good.
I'm back.
Yes.
Hi, welcome back. You can also see it on the glove right there of the HEV suit. The little sheen that goes over it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I really like that. It really just signifies what kind of material that is. You could really, you know, it doesn't feel plasticky or metal-ish anymore, like, you know, how it kind of felt in Half-Life 2, but more rubbery, kind of.
Yeah, it definitely looks like wood. You're right. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's really.
We also I also went through the trouble of like, you know, in Half-Life 2, or like one model can only have one material. So like, you know, if you shoot it, it'll only make like one kind of impact effect, one kind of footstep sound, etc.
Yeah.
So I went through the trouble of splitting that truck up into like different models for each material type. So like the wood is a separate model, and it actually behaves like wood. The metal's different, the glass is different, etc.
Ooh.
So when like it's being shot up in a firefight, it's just like it just feels way better, you know.
Yeah, it feels like you're actually shooting the correct materials. That's very nice. Okay, we got another screenshot in the same area right here, where we can see a bit more of the HEV suit itself, like the sleeve. And that reflects quite nicely as well. It's like this very metallic, shiny material. And then we got the car right there. Yeah, you could really tell what's kind of PBR and what's not. Yeah. Those tires, for example, they're more.
Yeah.
They don't refract stuff as nicely as like the truck.
Yeah, it's just a totally flat texture.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to not use any Half-Life 2 props, but sometimes, you know, you just you don't have new ones that like fill or like work as cover like that, so
yeah,
you just gotta use placeholders.
And if you guys have to actually use Half-Life 2 models, would you guys be updating the textures on those models, or is it really the plan to not have any Half-Life 2 models anywhere?
So what you said, I've actually done exactly that before. Like there are some episode 2 models that like the geometry honestly looks fine. It's just the texture that's kind of garbage.
Yeah.
By modern standards. So, but like little little stuff, especially if they're animated, like there are buttons and levers and such that move in episode 2. It's kind of it's kind of a lot of work, or not a lot of work, but it's just more work to like reanimate a new model. So like just they look fine, so just give them a new texture and they're good enough.
Give them a literal new coat of paint and they're good to go. Huh. Okay. Let's see. We got another screenshot with the pistol. We got some blood effects going on there, I see. And some
the
oh
blood
wow.
is still just...
I really love the lighting on that truck. That's that's really nice. Oh wow. I just kind of like imagine the entire environment being with those kinds of textures and just reacting to the light that way.
I definitely can't wait until we can art pass some of this stuff better.
Yeah.
When you're making a gameplay map and you need to get combat, you can't focus on that stuff.
Yeah, you have to focus on like the actual technical stuff first before making stuff look pretty. Or else you have to like change everything and like it's gonna be more difficult to do that.
Yeah. And you can see that too with the blood. Like unfortunately that's just the ugly Half-Life 2 effects, and
yeah, that's the standard. That's a standard Half-Life 2 blood. But yeah, the rest, like the material the Combine is standing on, the Combine soldier himself looks pretty good as well.
Yeah, the Combine soldier is actually the vanilla model, but because we haven't made a new one yet, but it's been given a texture overhaul. The only reason we bothered to do that is because the Combine soldiers are such a big focus for us.
Yeah,
they're definitely going to show off in updates, so you know, we'd have, like, if there's such a big focus, we want them to at least look pretty.
Okay, well
but we're gonna.
It looks.
We're later down the line. We're gonna make a new model for them.
Well, I'm just really impressed with how PBR textures just transform the look of the game. Really, it just makes everything look so much more modern. I'm wondering if if someone could make a mod to just like convert every Half-Life 2 texture to like PBR. That would be kind of fun. Maybe.
Cool. It'd be a lot of work though, because Half-Life 2's textures are definitely not designed to be PBR friendly.
No.
Like PBR, you need a bump map for it, or it's gonna look like crap. And yet, the vast majority of textures in Half-Life 2 don't have them. So like.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be a whole lot of work, but maybe there's someone out there crazy enough to do it.
Maybe, we'll see.
Maybe with someone with a lot of spare time. But anyway, I think we have seen all the screenshots that are to show. At least that has been sent to me. And
yeah.
Let's just take one final look at where the Hound Eye is right now. Has anything really been changed since the last time we looked at it, or?
No, I was just actually watching your stream, looking at screenshots.
Oh, okay. Okay, well...
But, yeah, just polishing pretty much, that's it.
Okay. So it's being polished right now, and it's... Basically, when the stream is done, it's gonna be polished even more, and eventually finished, and then we'll have a finished model on our hands.
We'll see, we'll see.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's already going really well. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
Really does.
Oh, I have to give credit to our artist Felix. He did the concept art. He did a really good job. So yeah.
We showed the concept art earlier.
Yeah.
Like, the fluff especially was kind of nice.
He also did the post-squid concept. It's just
yeah. It's really good.
Okay. That's very nice. All right. Anyway, but I think we should end the stream right here, unless someone has a very, very burning question in the chat still. Gonna quickly go through it. Oh, will these screenshots get published on Twitter or something? Is someone asking in the chat?
Yeah, I think so. We were talking about that last night.
Okay.
It's all in the public already, so yeah, we gotta post
Yeah,
it.
you might as well.
Yeah. Why not? Let's see if there are any other questions.
Will the Combine AI be improved over the base game? Because the Half-Life 2 AI was lacking, in my opinion. Yes, they will.
It will
Very
be
much so.
Man, I wish Comfort Jones was on this because then he would
yeah.
talk about
He
AI
could-
for like an hour.
You could talk. Yeah. You could double the stream length of him just talking about it.
We could just change the stream title to "A Talk About AI." I mean, you know, changing the Combine's AI and making them a lot more better in combat. That would be really great. They could use some work.
Yeah, the Combine and Boreal Alyph are way more fun to fight. It's like night and day. So Comfort Jones has absolutely done a spectacular job.
Ooh. All right. Let's see. I think that was it in terms of chat questions.
And I see one that I kind of want to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
By Anthony Danilov. Do you have vertex paint feature? And I think he probably or he's probably they are probably referring to vertex colors, and like it's not really a feature yet, but we want to add vertex color support for models, so we can so they could benefit from so the shaders could benefit from that extra info in the model. For example, foliage or stuff like that, or cloth. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's your question answered, Anthony Danilov. Yeah, and I guess that is it for the questions from the chat. Is there anything you guys want to say before the stream ends? Is there anything you want to tell the audience or something like that? Is there anything you want to let out?
Oh,
I'd say thanks for having us.
Oh well,
Yeah.
you're very welcome.
Say,
Thanks for agreeing to do this, because this has been an absolute blast, and I think the viewers who are watching this think exactly the same.
Real quick before we go, we are currently hiring concept artists. So if you or anyone you know some people who can make some really cool concept art, send them our way.
All right. So yeah, if you are a very good concept artist or you know someone, where can they contact you guys?
There is a forum for applications on our website, cafsoftware.com.
Okay, that's linked in the description, by the way. I think I added it to the description.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, good. Then I
We'll
did my job.
Post it on Twitter too, so and that's linked as well. So.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so if you know anyone who can do concept art, or if you are a concept artist yourself, then go ahead and send in your application. All right. So I guess that was all. Is that everything you guys wanted to say?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, that's good. So for you guys, I want to really thank you for watching. You can find Boreal Alyph on ModDB as well, but also on their website, which is linked in the description, as well as their Twitter. Go ahead and give them a follow. Make sure to stay in the know on the project, especially. Also, don't forget to subscribe to LambdaGen and to follow us on Twitter. That's also linked down below in the description. And yeah, I would just like to thank you guys all for watching, or thank you all for watching. I'm pretty horrible when I'm doing stuff off script. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll
See
be
you next
seeing
time, I guess.
yeah, I'll be seeing you guys definitely on all things Lambda tomorrow even. Wow. So I'll be seeing you
Nice.
guys then. All right.
Alright.
Salutations and take care.
Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye.
Take care.
Trans rights.
Oh, let me get this one. Okay. Bye everyone.
That was great.